Find out about the new $500 stimulus check and who that is going to, what one senator had to say about the child tax credit, what another senator did to show support for the child tax credit extension, and which industry could be getting its own set of stimulus checks for its workforce. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, it's Andrew Cartwright. Hope you're having a sunny Sunday, an incredible day, end of the week or beginning, depending how you look at the calendar. Here's your daily stimulus check, second stimulus check, third stimulus check, fourth stimulus check, executive action. My goal in these videos is to give you the best information to access government and private money for yourself. But first, let's talk about the $500 stimulus check that no one else seems to be talking about. I don't know why, but they're not. Starting next year, each parent of children between the ages of 18 to 24 will qualify for $500. That's right, 18 to 24. And they're calling them children. Yes, so you're a child up till 24, I suppose. The only requirement is that those above 18 have to attend college when the check starts going out. Congressman Steve Cohen summed it up by saying, quote, age is determined on December 31st, 2021. If your child turns 18 this year, then they are no longer eligible for the monthly child tax credit. However, the American Rescue Plan did provide a one-time credit for $500 for dependent children ages 18 and for dependent full-time college students age 19 to 24. So you get either the child tax credit if they turn 18 by December 31st. Well, then you get $500 for a dependent, and then if they're going to school, you get that money. So seems like you just got to know where to get the money, right? Besides, age is just a number. This is great news, and my birthday is next week. So actually, we're a week away from my birthday, I believe, 27th. Anyways, September 27th. This is great news for those of you that and young adults listed to the dependents. I got an age moment there. I went, oh, damn, it's my birthday coming up. Especially if you were one of those parents whose children turned 18 during the child tax credit period. You probably went, what do I do? The IRS recommends that you opt out. If this is the case, so that you don't have to pay anything back, especially now since you have money coming your way anyway, one way or the other. I mean, are they really going to hold everybody up over $500? How much is it going to cost for them to get you for that $500? It's just so, God, it's going to be weird, right? Dealing with all this stuff in the future as far as filing taxes and all that kind of stuff. Next up, Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown held a virtual roundtable over Zoom to discuss the child tax credit and this amazing impact. I happened to be eating oatmeal at the time with cherries and a little bit of raspberry and blueberries. Anyways, Brown said, quote, a number of families have said, at the end of every month, we've got to cut back on food and other things so that we have the money to pay rent. Because one woman said, quote, in the roundtable, the rent eats first, end quote. Patrick Clark, who is an educator at the Great Cincinnati, said that families who don't have to struggle with finances have kids who perform better in school, right? They don't have to think about that as an added thought to their daily thoughts. Clark said, quote, they're not maybe so focused on the lowest hierarchy of needs, like food. He's talking about Maslow's theory of hierarchies, right? Maslow's. Like food, shelter, clothing, that when they come to school, they're being provided for at home, and it makes our job even more worthwhile, end quote. It's a great point. It's nice to see, though, that much support behind the child tax credit for our senators to be able to support kids and also keeping them focused on they are our future. Hopefully we turn out better children here in this country to support our country and infrastructure, to keep us competitive going forward. Meanwhile, another senator put forth his support for the child tax credit by hosting an event in Grand Junction, Colorado. U.S. Senator Michael Burnett got together with the working class parents, educators, and healthcare professionals who can't take care of their families with the income they're getting. And he was competing with Life is Beautiful here in Vegas. Whew, boy, that's tough. Bennett said, quote, it's costly to our communities that people can't fulfill their full potential as actors in their economy because they're having to make choices that, frankly, other generations of Americans have not had to make, end quote. There was one huge takeaway from the roundtable. these people still can't achieve the same level of financial stability they once were able to. What we see is almost unanimous support for the extension of the child tax credit, quote, for years to come, end quote. This is nothing new. We're seeing communities come together around the country to support the extension of the child tax credit, or at the very least, another stimulus check while we continue to pick up the pieces. Finally, speaking of another stimulus check, one industry in New York State is more than likely getting their very own stimulus check, and that is the taxi cab industry. Boy, that is an industry that has been hit hard, right? With Uber, Lyft, it just all the different companies that are attacking them on a shared driver program, right? Over an app that has just crushed the taxi cab industry. Used to buy medallions for like $1 million so that you could drive a cab and you could sell it. That was your retirement plan, was to get as many of those medallions. Now they've been reduced to almost nothing. It turns out that cab drivers have taken one of the hardest blows of the industry. So New York is looking to allocate more than $60 million to go towards taxi drivers around the state. Not only were they hit with leaving many of them without jobs, they also got, fierce competition with Lyft and Uber that has a completely different business model. These two companies were able to stay in business while the taxi cab industry suffered. So interesting how that worked, right? On top of that, New York City is also planning to setting some money aside to help out the homeless. This is why we're still talking about stimulus money. There's still more of it to come, clearly. So there's no reason not to have hope for help in any way that it can come. The American Rescue Plan has loaded lots of county, city, and state bank accounts. It's up to them to figure out how to get it to you. It's up to you to let your government know, your local and state government know how you would want that stimulus, because ultimately, we're all going to probably end up paying it back in taxes. That's your stimulus check. Hopefully it'll be the billionaires, which I don't know how they're going to tax the billionaires. Most of them have dollar incomes. Thank you so much for tuning in, for making it to the end. As a tradition here, please leave a comment with your favorite plan.